All right, hey, welcome to the But Mostly Disney podcast. I'm Tater, and with me, as always, is my friend on the other end, Andrew.
Hello, everybody. Hope everybody's having a good night.
Yeah, Caleb's not. Caleb's sick. Come on, man. What's up with that?
Come on, man.
It's going around.
Let's go.
My wife is in Germany. She hadn't been feeling great. Oh, I'm glad. I did not see your message, Karen, but happy birthday. Caleb, I have not mailed yours yet, and it's not because I just have not. I had to get a different box, so I promise it's coming. And I'm really bad about stuff like this. So you are welcome to complain about me in the forums, which I don't have forums, so it's perfect. So yeah, good week. I was just saying I just renewed my annual pass with the photo pass. So now I am I only have enough money to mail Caleb's package, and that's it. Then I'm going to have to beg on the streets a little bit. And yeah, my wife's sick. My daughter was sick. Everybody's sick. It's going around.
Yes, that's springtime bug when the pollen's out and starts with a head cold, and voila.
Well, I am a goober, and I do know, Karen, that your birthday was in February, but me getting you something in April seems appropriate for my schedule. That's about how it works. So tonight, jump right in. We're going to talk about lines at Disney and how we talked about just doing Fast Pass, and I thought, well, I don't really know much about Fast Pass anymore because it doesn't exist, or Lightning Lane, or Genie Plus, or whatever you want to call it. It's still MGM Studios to a lot of us, so we can call it whatever we want. But it is, and I was telling Andrew before we started, because we chat a few minutes before we go live, that I learned. I mean, what we're going to talk about is about 20% of what I learned about how important Fast Pass, and I'd forgotten about X Band. Remember that? And
that was a long time ago,
right? And it didn't last long, so it was gone. And what they've done for lines, and to try to really work on guest satisfaction over the last 50 years. Is that right?
Yeah, thereabouts. Yeah.
Is Disney World 50 years? That's right. Disney
was 50 and 71. 21.
That means I'm old because I was born in 71. So it's interesting though, because I had read a while back that a guest on Disney surveys, which I only kind of I don't know, people answer surveys weird, I think, but they said that a guest was more satisfied with the ride being closed than they were with a 2-hour line. So if you went to Disney and Pirates was closed, you'd be okay. But if Pirates was a 2.5-hour line, then you're furious and unhappy.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with that.
Yeah. So in that,
when they're standing in line and the line goes down, they're even furious because now they wasted their time. You're going to give me a Fast Pass or a Lightning, multi Lightning Lane now.
And that's something interesting too. I didn't realize that, and we'll get to this, I guess, or maybe I didn't write this down, but on the Fast Passes, and the way it is now where it's electronic, if something goes wrong, and I did have this happen. Tiana was down for like 4 hours the first time I was supposed to ride it, and they automatically gave me a, multi-use, go anywhere you want, do a Fast Pass thing, which is cool.
Well, we had that happen to us, but we had friends with us that don't go to Disney as much as we do. And he's a Star Wars guy like I am. Not as big as I am, but he likes it. And I said, hey, you need to ride Rise of the Resistance, all right? So I bought us a la carte passes for all of us to ride it. And it's during Christmas, so I paid $23 a person. And our ride was supposed to be at 7:15. Well, the whole thing goes down. So then they give me the pass, but I can't use it for Slinky Dog or Rise. They give me, and I'm like, wait a minute, I just paid primo price to ride this ride, and now you're telling me I can't use it for a primo ride, but I can go ride Runaway Railway for the same price I bought this pass. So I went up front to guest services, and I said, hey, this isn't going to work. And they actually worked with me, and they said, you can come back tomorrow. I said, well, the friends that are with us are leaving tomorrow. So they gave us their money back on the tickets I bought for them. And then they gave us that Fast Pass plus another day because we had 5 more days in the parks. to go ride Rise of Resistance. So it ended up working out for us. But I wonder how many people don't think about it and they go, okay, yeah, we'll go ride uh, alien swirling saucers, but you just paid $23 a person to ride swirling saucers.
Look, since we've been going, oh, thanks, Karen. Sean likes my, because he's got a great name, right? His name is perfect. That's why he likes my shirt. I'm glad he's up late with us for a change. So lines have always, it's never been perfect, right? We've always been complaining, no matter, we started going in 2006 and we were frustrated with the lines then, running around and doing the fast passes. So it's always been their biggest complaint. I have to imagine. Right. Mm-hmm. But then it's funny when you think about it, that when they opened in 71, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea and Country Bear were the biggest wait times in Disney. 20,000 Leagues, which was a slow moving ride, right? Difficult to load. It only had 40 guests in the subs. There were only like 9 subs at a time. So let's see the numbers here. A 12-hour day at the park, 33,000 guests could ride Haunted Mansion on the Omni Mover, right? But 14,000 guests on 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. So over double, basically. 2,800 guests per hour on 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. And some of that kind of interesting, just to run through this, because I've got a lot of stuff and I'd rather just talk about how we feel about it. But this was actually kind of interesting. So they had the ticket books, right? And Country Bear was an e-ticket, right? An e-ticket, which is kind of cool, became a colloquialism for, anything that was exciting. Oh, it's an e-ticket, e-ticket, right? She's an e-ticket girl, whatever you want to do. So they were charging more, much like they do now, to ride the more popular attractions. But when they opened Disney World and Disneyland, a lot of folks didn't know what was better. They didn't know Country Bear, right? And so they would list that as an e-ticket. And then they had a Mickey Mouse review, and this may have been at Disney. I think it was Disney World, with animatronic characters that was known, and that was a D guest. So a lot of folks would think, hey, I'm going to go ride Country Bears because it's an e-ticket and a better show, leading to longer lines and kind of this false demand, which led to a guy named Bruce Laval, I think. Mm-hmm. Laval. Mm-hmm. Laval. And he started as an industrial engineer in 71 at Walt Disney World.
The crazy thing about that, like I said, we were talking earlier about the D tickets and the E tickets, A tickets, but in what the actual, if you didn't have a ticket, you could buy the ride. So like Country Bear started out as a D ticket for 75 cents, but then it got popular. It moved to an E ticket for a grand price of 90 cents.
I've got that right now. 90. I'll give you 90 cents right now. That's all I have left. Yeah, and
All the Presidents was a D ticket.
Well, right. And again, at that time, that was still pretty spectacular. I still think it's spectacular. Let me rephrase that. I love Hall of Presidents. Please don't get rid of that. Please, 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 please. So this false demand, he didn't like, and they decided that when Epcot opened, they wouldn't use the ticket system. So then they got rid of it at Disneyland and Disney World. All that was gone. So as they got rid of these e-tickets, then the wait times, I think, went down. And so obviously the false stuff was not working, trying to create this false scarcity or excitement about it didn't work. So they tried switchback queues. They changed the lines themselves, right? And I think Walt Disney, as I recall, actually he would wait in line. Like he probably would not love some of the stuff that I hate doing that. I shouldn't say this. He didn't want a caste system, right? Like he didn't like the idea that you could buy your way. He wanted everyone to be the same. And whether that's possible or not, it's hard to say. But at first, people kind of liked the switchback queues. I remember we used to go through Space Mountain and you'd high five everybody going the other way as you're going back and forth, and we'd play games and go back and forth and do these things. And I kind of liked it, but eventually the trick of that, no one liked. And again, they're shooting for like 15-minute wait times. That's what their whole, like, you know, on their dream board, that's what they want to do. The other thing they tried to do, they would, if there was longer than 15 minutes, they wanted immersive cues, a video, something to take your mind off the wait and what you were doing. And then a third thing they did was hide the queue. So it goes, you know, that's where we see, like, you know, my mom last month when we were at Flight of Passage was just like, is this it? Are we there yet? Is it around this corner? What's going on next? And, you know, I mean, and look, I'll be honest, I kind of am with Walt on that. I liked the lines. Some, right? My kid met a pen pal one year that was kind of cool. We met in line. We went there the day it opened after COVID and there were no lines, and it really, really felt weird. Hey, Stacy, how's it going? Look, Stacy always popped in. I love it when people come by. It just makes me happy that even if they're just scrolling through Facebook and it happens to pop up, it just makes me feel good. Like we're not alone out here. I love having people in the chat. It's distracting, kind of squirrel. So then Laval moved over. He was director of the studio tour for MGM Studios, and then he moved to running all 4 parks, vice president of operations. And it was while he was in Colorado on a ski trip, where people often have all their great ideas, right, on the slopes. He was looking at a ski lift, and on one side you had the line lining up, and on the other side they had a single rider, and the single rider would kind of fill in. So if it was a quad lift, then 3 were on there, then you'd put a single rider in, and that's where he got the idea of doing, really that's where Fast Pass was born. He got back, everyone thought it was kind of stupid, but let's try it in Animal Kingdom because had so few attractions, and they would do a control group with it. They just rode the attractions, and they would write down in their little book, how it went. And then the other group, when they were told to go to the front, tell them which group they were in, the cast member, and they would give them this soon to be Fast Pass that would tell them to come back at a certain time. So they're waiting the same amount of time, but their line times were reduced by 50%, by half. And they got 25% more rides in doing it this way. So then the testing moved to Space Mountain, which had the longest park waits. And cast members were literally writing return times on cards and giving them and using a handheld clicker to shoot back and forth. A little chaotic, but they proved that the system could work. And then they moved on to Fast Pass with the kiosk place outside of attractions, right? And initially, and we'll come full circle to this because this is how I think this should still be implemented. You had one Fast Pass at a time, and you didn't get another one, right? Exactly. So you would use one, or if the window arrived, so if you did,
well, think of it like this. Not to cut you off, but Tower of Terror and Rockwell Roller Coaster.
Please, God, cut me off, Andrew. I talk so much. Please, anytime, just feel free.
Tower of Terror and Rockwell Roller Coaster make a prime example. If you park dropped those 2 rides, you go to either one, get a Fast Pass for that ride, and walk right across the street and do that ride, waiting for your Fast Pass. Now you can't do that. You have to do your first ride, and when you're done with your first ride, so when you're standing in queue for the first ride, you get hopefully get a second ride. I wish they would have this. If you want to have a lightning lane system, that's cool, but have it where it works for your guests, to where they can choose one ride and then wait in the line for the other, and then while they're waiting, they can keep picking. My boss's daughter has figured it out, and they get all the rides in the world done, and I still haven't figured out how she does it. But
no, and I agree, and I feel like I've researched this stuff. Not super enthused. There's another girl and her husband or boyfriend that go do it, and I watch an hour and 40 minutes of my life. And it was a great video. She does a great job. She explained everything, and I still screwed it up, but we'll get to that. Mm-hmm. And look, I screw a lot of things up, so it's not really that far outside of the realm of possibility, but feeling like I know what's going on, I still think it's very confusing. And look, it's changed a lot the last 3 years, right? I mean, we've had 3 different names in 3 years or something like that for Fast Pass, right?
Genie Plus, Lightning Lane.
Yeah, from FastPass, to Genie Plus to Lightning Lane. Yeah, so I mean, it's been a little nuts, and they'll get it right. I do have confidence. I am positive that I think they do a good job of moving people around.
I wish they would do it like Universal does it. I haven't experienced yet, but I've had people experience. You stay at a deluxe resort, you get the express pass, and there's no ticket time, there's no nothing. You just walk up to a line that says express pass, and you can ride every ride one time.
Do you think they can do that because it's less people?
It's got to be. It's the only thing I can think of.
Because how many deluxe resorts do we have at Walt? Like it's a team. How many deluxe resorts does Walt Disney have compared to? Because there's 3 at Universal, correct?
Correct. Well, so 4 if you count Hard Rock.
Well, Hard Rock gets the quick queue as well. So you're right. So 4. So that's a lot of. I gotta go.
They don't have a vacation club.
Nope. I got to do a research trip. If only there was.
So it's got to be the biggest thing is people,
right? Or how they do it, or maybe are their hotels is full? Maybe more people stay off. I don't know, because it's not a bad deal. I just booked someone there, and it's pretty. Karen says they have way less people, so maybe that's true. I didn't really look at numbers for that, but
I just think the idea is worth. If you're gonna. We all pay. I'm like you. I've spoiled my family, and they stay at the deluxe resorts when I take them, or I stay, at lower price, or not lower price, but moderate below on other trips. But if they had something for deluxe guests like that, I think that would hit. Give us something back. They've been taking. How about give us something back?
And I agree. And I don't stay in deluxe resorts every time, right? And so this would sometimes benefit me, and often would not. And I still think it would be okay. I think for the amount of money people pay to stay in there, I think it's okay to have some perks, right? I don't think that's unfair.
No, this trip we're coming up, we're staying at Port Orleans Riverside because it's my daughter and I, and I'm perfectly fine with it.
Favorite.
But when we do spend the money to stay at Animal Kingdom or the Beach Club, to be able to have that extra access would be.
And you get your extra in the deluxe. You do get some extra after hours, which is nice.
Yeah.
Hey, my buddy Andrew made it. How's it going, man? I really enjoyed the ice skate, man. You look great. I'm telling you, you need to put that cowboy hat into everyday rotation. I thought it looked good, really good. So with one fast pass, and then this is where they started really looking at it behind the scenes, right? With a computer that would go to a server that would track down times, and that was one thing that they could do is they could tell the computer, hey, Space Mountain's down, so it would stop handing out fast passes so that it wouldn't get completely backed up, which is kind of part of the problem they had with the handheld stuff. And sometimes even with the app now, I think they don't account for the fact that these rides go down. So you had 13 attractions with Fast Pass at Magic Kingdom, or 13 total, 5 at Magic Kingdom, 2 at Epcot, 5 at MGM, and 3 at Animal Kingdom. And then they did it at Disneyland for Space Mountain, Splash Mountain, and Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin. But then they went to X Pass, or Max Pass, which I've never used, and I'm not going to talk too much about. If someone in the chat knows more about it, I'd be happy to hear. A lot of folks love that better, and I think that was like $10 for the Fast Pass sign. So there was a small premium, but everyone seems to think that it worked out better. And they had to modify the queues, right? Because then you had to have a fast pass line, so you had to put in railings, and people complained like on Muppet 3D Vision, you got in the fast pass line and it just was a different door to the same place that you were going. But using that system, they found that guests 75% less wait times through the day. Yeah. And again, we were talking about this. The thing about it is it for customer satisfaction? Absolutely. But it's really so that you have, what's up, Moose? We were just talking about you because I need to send you that Bing Crosby autograph to see if it's really him. But they want you in the shops. So if you can go to Space Mountain, know you're going to be there in an hour, and then for an hour go over and walk around the shops and get some ice cream or a hot dog, I think they found that people were in line too much to spend enough money that they really wanted to. And then they created another one, like with e-ticket. All right, so Stacy, who's our West Coast girl, says that Max Pass worked much the same as the current system. Okay. So
Disneyland, yep.
Right. Okay.
Makes sense.
So Fast Pass became another little household name, like a colloquial. So for, hey, you can get a Fast Pass to come hang out with me later. No, I think a lot of folks think the same things. She says that others may disagree. And as Disney people, we will. And then the other, but they also found, look, you still had to get there early. You almost had to rope drop. I remember when Toy Story Spin opened, my wife would take the kids to run over to Jedi Academy to get them signed up for that. And I would sprint out to Toy Story to try to get in there to be able to ride because they were gone. By 9 a.m., all the Fast Passes for the whole day were absolutely gone. And then it sat on a 2-hour wait the whole time. And I thought it was cool too, because I love a little larceny here and there. But a lot of people found ways to scam it, like they would keep their Fast Passes from previous days or trips because the people weren't looking at them. And then they changed the design of the Fast Pass. And then I think there were found that there were some attractions that didn't communicate with the computer correctly. So you go to these rogue attractions and get Fast Pass. I mean, God bless them. And a little tidbit. February 17th, 2003, the 100 millionth Fast Pass was distributed to the Dillon family of Atlanta, and they got a golden Fast Pass that allowed them on all the attractions. And then we go into X-Band, which again, I'm not going to go through all this, but that was the first idea, I think, with an RFID chip in it, where you could use it as park ticket or credit card. And I missed that. I liked paying with my Fast Pass. I don't like things in my pockets. I mean, my Magic Band, sorry. I enjoyed walking around with just that on me. I thought it was great. And I liked the idea that at some time my daughter could have one and Cinderella would know her name just because of it was all in the... am I giving up a little privacy? Maybe. But it had been worth it to me to do that way. And then I read this. I don't remember this, but on the busiest days at Magic Kingdom, it said guests would be allowed to book 3 Fast Passes, but on most days they could book 4 Fast Passes. And then at Epcot, under this X-Band system, you could only book 2 or 3, and it varied for that. And then do you remember when Verizon had a special app only for Verizon people that with the map and the wait times? I'd forgotten all about that.
They had to deal with Epcot because my oldest that show Kim Possible, they had a little game you played through Epcot, and you had to have the app through Verizon to play it.
And they charged you for it.
Mm-hmm.
But you were able to see wait times on there and a map, and that's pretty cool. I'd just forgotten about it because I think I'd Sprint my whole life and then T-Mobile. So bad Wi-Fi, the band readers wouldn't work. I mean, it's a pretty amazing system, right? To me, it's like luggage on an airline. If an airline loses my checked bag, I'm going to be nice about it because I can't believe it works at all. I really can't. I mean, the overbooking, the canceled flights and not doing anything, that makes me mad. But the fact that they give this... get this luggage everywhere is incredible. And that's kind of how I feel, especially in the early days of this. Like, how did they get this done? It's just, I'm amazed. But again, I like being a little naive, so I'm happy. I'm just happy to be here, right?
Yeah. Well, I thought it was always interesting that you'd go get a Fast Pass, you had your card, your park ticket, you'd put it in, let's just see if it gives me another one for something else.
Right.
You put your card in and it would spit it right back out. You already have a Fast Pass.
And how many times did I get to see Mickey's Philharmonic because somebody would give me a extra Fast Pass for that, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I thought it was pretty good. I didn't have trouble learning that. And I was, new into Disney at the time. So I wasn't the veteran, seasoned veteran that I am now. And I thought it was pretty easy to use. I liked the planning. We always stayed on property. So we had the 60 days out instead of 30. And I loved getting up that morning, especially when it fell on a Saturday and I could get the whole family up and we could go, plan that trip out together. It kind of made the trip last longer to me. Same with picking restaurants. I enjoy it. Not everybody does. And I will say it does take, when I was there last month, we looked the night before just to see about doing Lightning Lane. I almost said Genie Plus. I just gotten used to Genie Plus and now it's Lightning Lane. To do that night before, and you really can't. I think you have to do it 7 days out, or at least more than the night before. So there is some spontaneity that is given up on this. So swinging by and grabbing a little magic, as we like to say, could be hard.
And it's just, we thought about not doing Lightning Lanes on this coming trip in April, but I'm kind of debating whether to do it. But I can do that on the 8th. So you do have a little bit of a window, to pick some things if it's available. But I do miss, the 60 days out, picking your A ride, your B ride. Was it just A and B? I can't remember.
I feel it, yeah, because you usually got 1 A and 2 B rides,
2
right?
Bs, yeah, that's what it was.
1 tier 1 ride and 2 tier 2 rides or whatever.
Yeah, so it was like if you're in Magic Kingdom, it was, Big Thunder Mountain, Haunted Mansion, and something else.
And the interesting thing is, as I was doing, I know research, it's like this is a job. It's fun. But they had to, even to make this work, they had to add on fireworks. They had to add on meet and greets. They had to add on some things that didn't even have lines because there weren't enough fast passes to give out. So in order to make it work like in a box for everybody, it was too short. It was only like this much. And then you add in shows and it's this much. And then you add in firework. But the amount that they were going to have to give out each day to make it work, they really had to put some things in there that didn't need or require parade viewing. But if there's a reserved spot and you don't have to wait, someone might love that. We typically kind of skip by those, but so 2021 Fast Pass would be officially, and Max Pass discontinued, and would be the Genie app, and it was going to help use AI, I'm sure, to help us plan our day. And they do that, right? And they've been doing that for a long time, where if Space Mountain's getting backed up and it gets to 60 minutes, they might put on the app 90 minutes to try to steer you somewhere else to go. That was the other thing they were talking about, not only lines, but crowd flow. So if you wanted a Space Mountain Fast Pass, you had to go to Space Mountain to get it. And then you might walk back across the park to Fantasyland and then back across the park to Space Mountain. And it was really jamming up the pathways. Like it was becoming too crowded in the park to walk around because people weren't flowing in a way that made sense, to keep them moving through the different lands in a way. And it's amazing that that's the kind of thing people study. Like I don't have the math skills for that, but it's fascinating to me. So now we're getting to the point where it gets confusing, right? Because now you've got 4 ways. You can just go stand in line, virtual queue, a Lightning Lane through Genie Plus, or an individual Lightning Lane to pay for just one part. So now you got 4 ways to ride a ride. 5 if you count single rider. And trying to explain that to someone who's never been to Disney is actually pretty difficult.
I think here, recently, our trip in February, I felt like the standby line wait times were exaggerated a lot because take Peter Pan, I think it said 75 minutes, and we didn't stand in line maybe 40 minutes.
Yeah, I found last time I was there was about half.
Yeah.
We had everything. Navi River Journey was exactly what it said it was.
Okay.
It was 30 minutes, and we waited 30 minutes, and we were on the ride. Yeah, I haven't even gotten to Premiere yet, because that's the newest one. I mean, I guess somebody can, and if it's your one trip, like if you're only coming to Disney one time,
one trip, yeah,
man, fire it up. You're going to have a great day. It's going to be an amazing experience. Yes, and DAS Pass, which is kind of, how a lot of this is working anyway, right? It's the same thing. You're not skipping a line. You're just holding your place in line. Like, I think a Dumbo is genius, right?
Right. Yeah. The play area.
Yes. You go in, you get a buzzer like you're at Chili's or something, and then your kids go climb around and jump on the thing. And then when it's time to go, you go jump in a quick line and you ride the ride. I think it's genius. It's inside. Yep. I haven't been in a long time, but I think it was still,
it's air conditioned, and
we
just walked through it here recently, and we did the standby, but of course when the people came out with the buzzers, they got in front of us. But their train area where the kids play, it's still going.
All right, and so that brings us to today, right? In only 30 short minutes, you've got Lightning Lane. So Genie Plus is gone. And there's two types of Lightning Lanes. You've got Multipass, Multiverse, which multiple rides, or you've got Lightning Lane Single Pass, which is a la carte. So that would be more like your old, what was Lightning Lane before. So I guess that one actually stays the same. So now you can pay $15, $17, whatever it is, to go get your ride. I don't even know what rides are doing it anymore. I feel like that changes pretty frequently because you don't have virtual queues now. They're gone. No. I don't think there's any left.
There isn't. The last two went away.
Yeah, and so the last two are gone on those. And resort guests can purchase 7 days before check-in. I don't even know. Oh, 3 days. 3 days for everybody else, I think.
Yes.
Sorry.
3 days.
And then 7 a.m. So that's fun. And then you get one top tier and then two bottom tier, except for Animal Kingdom, which doesn't have tiers. And this is where I screwed up. So the last time I bought Lightning Lane, I bought it for 3 people to make sure we could ride Tiana because we hadn't ridden it yet. And I couldn't get Tiana until 6:30 in the evening. And I don't think I could get my first other Lightning Lane until 10 a.m. or 9 a.m. And so what I'd end up doing is I would go ride Pirates before my Lightning Lane, and then I'd change the Lightning Lane to something different. So I moved my Lightning Lanes back all day long and didn't use them. But my Tiana stayed the same. You have to check into one. Like once you check into one, no matter what tier it is, then you can start moving stuff all over the place. And then, because they do change during the day, like you want to check, you want to check all day long because things will pop up that weren't available 15 minutes ago. And so I don't love that because I don't love always people being on the phone. And it does seem like you have to stop a lot, but I mean, we're on our phones anyway. Who are we kidding? I'm very engaged with my family. Don't get me wrong, but I'd be lying if I wasn't posting on Instagram or doing stuff in line or checking things or,
That's one thing I like to do is I'm the one doing all the looking on the Lightning Lane and the Fast Pass or whatever you want to call it on the app and look at going, hey, we can go do Pirates of the Caribbean now, or hey, there's an opening at Buzz Lightyear. Pick one, and one of my daughters will go, we're going here, and all right, click it, we're going there, and then I try to keep them involved. So yeah, you're just not on the phone. Everybody else is having a conversation behind you, and you're going through everything, trying to pick something, keep them involved. But yeah, it has made it to where we're on our phones a lot more than we want to be.
But I would argue that if you're on your phone because you're doing something for your family, then it's not really screen time, right? Like if you're on there checking sports scores, okay,
That's a little
maybe
different.
right, maybe it's different. I don't know, but I think if you're like if I'm on my phone checking because we have a trivia question we want to look at or think about or something that we were talking because we talk a lot in line, right? Even when it's hot, we'll still find time to sit there and have some fun. But we like talking to each other a lot. Now,
I'd like to find out how much the fuel rods, how much they sell of those now.
They're $40.
Well, I'm just like the quantity because people's phones are dying quicker being on their phones all the time. That's had to be a big impact on their.
Here's a little tip. I had to buy one this summer and I do like it. It's only like a third of a charge, right? It's not much power in there. They're not great. And it was $40 and I did use it and it did work great. I have no complaints. I was surprised and elated that I thought I was going to have to pay $5 to re-up it. It's free. So you buy it once for the rest of your life, you can trade them in. However, I just saw today, if you go to Amazon, you can buy two for less than $40 and still trade them in at the parks.
Yeah. Or I brought this out. I've got one of these bricks.
Right.
$25 and you can use the back of it to charge. You can plug it in. It's solar powered and it'll go all day. And we've all of us have plugged our phones in it. But I was just always curious. I see these fuel rod stations. I'm like, how much money have they made out these fuel rod stations since?
Yeah,
having to be on the phone? So
it's really so you can buy. Why? Because you can buy two of them for $29. So $30 you can get two. You can get a pack of 3 for $54. So. And then you can just pop them in. So I do think it's a pretty good solution overall. Yeah. And I've used them. And so Andrew says that they had one of the original ones and they were able to upgrade to the new kind with USB-C, which is great. And it comes with every cable you'd ever need. They're little tiny cables. I did try little insider baseball. I tried to use my Osmo handle to charge my phone, but that did not work.
No, I tried that too.
And I just bought this case. I have a review on my YouTube channel at But Mostly Disney because I thought it was so good by a company called Taurus. And I have an Amazon phone, but it looks like that. And so it puts the little mag thing on the back. So I think I can use those mag chargers. And I saw just today that Taurus makes one that's really thin, goes on the back, and has a USB-C. Because again, I don't like things in my pockets. So that'd be a good show, like top 10 tech things we take.
Oh, there Disney. We
go. So Karen says, and I think a lot of people feel this way, that you, so Stacy said the same thing. I had just seen this. It's too late for me. I've already bought one now, but they are small and they do fit in your pocket. But Karen says she's glad virtual queues are gone. And I liked virtual queues. Am I wrong? Am I the only one? Because it's possible.
No, I just had bad luck trying to get them. I guess I just didn't.
Always got them.
Didn't do something right.
100% of the time, I got virtual queues every single time. And I remember the year we stayed at the Riviera, I remember being outside and there was a lady beside me and she's like, how did you do it? I'm like, I don't know. Because we were right beside each other. We did exactly the same thing. I've done it on Wi-Fi. I've done it on cellular. I've done it by scrolling down. I've done it by hitting refresh. Like I've never had a problem. But I mean, they are gone so fast, like less than a second. It's crazy.
I can remember when you had to be in the park. I remember this. We were at Hollywood Studios going to a Rise virtual queue when they first did that. And there would be pods of people everywhere standing around. And you'd hear, yay, like everybody's excited. And, there was the same thing. People were next to us and we got group like 60 and they got group like 201 or something. I forget, it was like 100 different. I'm like, I don't get it, but, but then you'll hear virtual queue is done for the day. And you're like, it just amazed me how somebody next to you couldn't get it and you're both doing it at the same time. I guess technology, I don't know.
Now I
I've
have.
had no luck doing it.
Oh, here we go. And Stacy's got an affiliate link for the fuel rod. I'll put it down below in my show notes because if you I don't have show notes. I don't take notes, but I'll put it in the link below of this video somehow so that she can get some money. Because that's a good tip, guys. You know, all of this stuff is expensive to do, and I love it. I'm having so much fun, and I'm not really looking at failure as an option for these things because I don't even know what okay, I do have a goal. My goal is for at some point in time for this to pay for itself. I don't need to make money on it, but if I could just not spend money on it each year, that would be amazing. So that's my goal. But for all of these creators out there, you know, if you like their stuff, you know, hit like for 2 seconds. Or I feel guilty now because I know how the algorithm works on YouTube. If I play somebody's video, I don't want to stop it because that's a really important thing. Like YouTube actually looks at, I think, more than likes at how long someone watches your video, right? Which is the reason I started this podcast, was just to get YouTube views, honestly. And it's probably the most consistently upward thing I do. And now I love it. You know, we're 26 episodes in on something I had never, ever in my life planned to do. But anyway, these little affiliate links, which someday I swear I'm going to do, but I haven't started yet. But, you know, clicking on those or checking for your friends before you buy something to see if they have, because you never know. I mean, I don't even know what you can list. Stacy has one for Amazon. You know, when I bought Ecamm, if you are interested in content creation, Jeff C, he's a spectacular guy. I met him through Lou at Momentum, and he's just a wizard when it comes to so many things. But I, you know, used his affiliate link, and this was not cheap software, and he got 15%. So it's always good to help out people you like.
Stacy, the link does not work. I get an error message when I click on it.
Oh. Well, Stacy, stick it in the comments. It'll be in the comments on here, right? I'll put it down below if we figure out what it is. But that's always a big help. All right, so just so we don't go on forever, here, and I think I've already said this, but if you know me at all, you know how much I repeat myself. Here's my solution. Here's my proposal for a solution. Is there's 3 tiers of Fast Pass, plus I'm not counting private tours. Because honestly, that's what I would do. I would skip Premier Pass for 3 years and do a private tour. Like, that's my goal. I would like to do that. So tier 1, and I would be okay if it's just Disney hotel people, right? Because you can't, everyone gets the 1 at a time Fast Pass for free. Everyone gets at least once a day that, for me, that dual feeling of both, you know, feeling like a king and feeling really guilty of walking down that Fast Pass line past all those hot, sweaty people. Once a day, I think everyone deserves that. So that's the bottom tier, and it's free. And if you're staying in a Disney hotel and you're paying a premium and getting a premium, then I think that's a nice thing for you to have. Tier 2 is like we have now, the current Lightning Lane, $35 a day or whatever it is, you know, scaled pricing, and you get 3 and you do it like that. And then the final tier is the outrageous Premier Pass, whatever it is, we're 1 for everything. So you get 3 tiers. If you can't afford it, don't want to afford it, which I respect because I'm not buying them anymore, at least maybe this summer, but I'm not sure yet. Then you have something for free. You know, you get something for going because it's expensive and they're raising prices and taking things away. And I really want Disney to be, I'm a stockholder, you know, so I want them to do well. And if they don't do well, then they're not there, right? So I'm okay with them making money, but I still feel like taking that completely away. It's like the hotel parking. You know, they didn't charge, then they charged $25 a night and they stopped. And I'm so stupid. I'm such a consumer. If you would just tack it onto the room and not tell me what it's for, I'd be fine. It wouldn't bother me at all. I just don't want to pay for it called parking.
Right.
But that's what I'm putting out there. That, and again, Disney, let's get some metal cups for our resort cups. I will pay double the price and have no problem doing it.
I just think, with here recently, if you've been paying attention, I'm sure you have, and everybody else has, with Epic Universe coming, you see they're thinking about bringing back Magical Express. They're testing that pilot again, and
So they're doing it
both
with
water parks,
Southwest, right?
yeah,
I think
both water parks are opening back up, and I think there's a giant discount on tickets at some point going on as well. Some
well,
point
and
of
you
the
get
year.
that check-in day thing, right? So on your check-in day, if you're staying on property, you can go straight to the water park. But that's
So I think you'll see a lot more of that with Epic opening up.
and that'd be nice, right? I mean, that's the way it should be. I like the competition, and again, I don't begrudge them making money. It's okay. Oh, that's okay. So Stacy, that's the fancy fuel rod. Can you exchange those though? And it's magnetic. Yeah, that's nice. I just, again, we talked about backpacks, and I can understand. I have carried a backpack in there once, but gosh, I hate it.
I have a shoulder bag, kind of like a little messenger bag.
Oh, you were
I keep
saying.
I keep my camera and some cables and stuff in, a charger for the park. It's not too terribly bad, but we do still carry a book bag, and we all grimace when it's our turn to carry it.
I mean, I just honestly, what I try to do, yeah, Stacy, that takes us there. All right. So I'll put that link in the comments for you if I can. Because sometimes I can be, well, maybe, okay. Well, what I did, it's in the Facebook comments, and then I'm putting it in the YouTube comments, and I think that will, this is probably not great podcasting. Most people probably don't want to hear what's going on here, but that's what makes us fun. Anyway, I'll put it in the YouTube comments. I'll make sure it's somewhere. So if you need a fuel rod before you go, don't buy them at Disney. Disney gets enough of our money. Save your $40, spend 30. You can have two. And yeah, well, with kids, again, kids get a pass. Whatever you need to do for your kids, please do with backpacks, and that's fine. I mean, and I think that's it. I will say, after COVID and going for that, I kind of like standing in line a little bit. I don't mind.
Yeah, I don't mind either.
I haven't bought. I have not bought Lightning Lane since summer, and the last time I bought it, I messed it up. So maybe I'm going down the weekend, like the week of the 14th, somewhere in there. Maybe I'll buy it one day ahead of time because I'm going by myself. That way I don't have to spend. That's the other thing. That's my problem, really. I don't mind spending $35 on me, but when I got to spend 35 times 5, it adds up quick. I mean, that's a whole nother day at the park.
You're going down the week of the 14th?
Mm-hmm.
That's the same week I'll be there.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
Oh, with that, Karen, that's true too. Do you get a DAS pass for Sean? And that's, I mean, I shouldn't. Maybe, please don't answer that if you don't want to. I will tell you, my buddy, his daughter is autistic, and he had a tough time getting his DAS pass renewed. But he's an ex-Marine, so he knows how to dig in and get things done. But I really, they've changed that process, and I hope they make it easier. I know there was a lot of abuse on it. I get it, but you're always going to have some bad seeds go through, and I think it's so important for so many people.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
There's several people who've had it in the past, and they have some pretty specific conditions, and they won't let them get it, and they're still fighting it.
Well, it sounded like too they had people who were not trained, asking the questions. And I don't know, because I obviously didn't try to go get one, but and I'm not an expert, but my degree is in psychology, and I did work in the field for a long time. Right. And so that's the thing too. Like, so what if you have a problem, that you can't stand in those lines for a long time, but it doesn't meet the DAS requirements.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough. And you know what? It's all because, there are people who take advantage of it. But if everyone had at least one free fast pass, maybe they wouldn't have to go scam the DAS lines, which would be nice. I think that's all I got. I think I didn't know if we wanted to discuss DAS or not. And obviously the best way to cheat the lines is a private tour, but that's starting at $400 an hour. But 10 people, if you can do it at the $400 mark, and I think there's a 7-hour minimum, it's really not that much.
Yeah.
It'd be worth doing, like, maybe Andrew, research trip. Maybe your family and my family can get together. We'll split the cost, and then we'll write it off on our taxes for the podcast because it's work.
Sounds like that's a good idea.
This is my job now.
Hope there's no IRS people listening, but yeah.
But I mean, and the crazy thing is too, I will say I have some friends who are super universal and we trade tips back and forth. And that's what they said. You go, you stay at the Hard Rock, you stay at Portofino, your ultimate fast pass is included in the price. Mm-hmm. If you're going to stay in a nice hotel anyway. And they've said, well, this was 2 years ago, but they told me point blank, you could do both parks at Universal in one day with that pass.
Oh, I believe it. Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. It's got to be a people problem for them not to have done something similar to that at Disney.
I think Stacy wants us to do. So Stacy said we have to do it.
We have to do it.
Well, you know what? I'm only 5. You're only 4, right? We need a 10th, Stacy. So if only there was anybody who would come with us to do it. All right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in on Thursday. I think we're back to Tuesday next week.
Yeah, I am. Are you?
Let me double check right now, so we'll know ahead of time. We had
Our streak was broken.
I know. I had to work. We had a show at our concert venue. Yeah, I'm totally free next Tuesday, so we're back. We'll be back on Tuesday next week. Yeah, we have some 88 stuff. I got 2 little things, and then I really am going to go. One, I was just going to say we have 88, but I didn't realize that we are required to provide a signer if requested for a band.
Really?
So if someone deaf is coming and they call, then we have to provide it. Because someone was complaining that our ADA wasn't directly in the center of the stage. I think it's actually cooler. It's almost up behind the stage normally. It's a really neat view that most people don't get. But somebody had complained about that. And then I'm reading this book. And if you haven't subscribed to the newsletter, please do that. And you can go to butmostlydisney.com and click subscribe. I try to do it once a week. I'm really averaging about once every other week. So it's not going to bug your inbox too much. But this book I'm reading, and we may have a special guest coming on at some point in time, but I'm trying to keep it to myself, even though I'm really excited until it's actually on the books. But it's about the Tiki Room. Ken Bruce is his name. And in that book, I thought this was really cool. So have you seen the movie Xanadu, Andrew? Are you familiar with it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you know the theater that's in Xanadu that they turn into the Roller Boogie Club at the end.
Right.
And then, we've got Hollywood and Disneyland, California. That's their gate, right? Is based on that building. So that's a little trivia. But the interesting thing is Walt displayed Granny's house that's in One Man's Dream, the miniature he made in that auditorium the first time anybody saw it outside.
No way.
So when he was making those miniatures, they had a show and he asked them to let him bring it. And it got put in that auditorium. So Walt was inside that auditorium where Olivia Newton-John roller skated at some point in time. I just love how all roads lead back to Walt Disney.
Walt.
All right, what you got? How's the YouTube channel going?
I'm struggling.
It's so hard.
Every time I think I got something I like, I delete it and start over from scratch. I'm too big of a critic. I just got to post it and let it go and let the public take it. But I got 3 or 4 videos I'm working on. I'll get it up and then change it, and still working on the Skipper Cantina video. Hopefully get that done here the next day or 2. But
it's
I'm just too big of a critic.
You got to let it go. Let it go. I'm trying. It's so hard. I posted a video Sunday night because I'd edited it. I didn't have anything else. It's a terrible. I think I titled it, "This is a horrible video." Like, and it's not clickbait. It really is not a great video. But I'm putting them out there because I feel like the consistency helps. And you just never know what someone's going to like, right? Mm-hmm. Like those Disney water fountain reviews. That was not something I'd aspired to do in my life. You know, that was an absolute, and it's so weird. And if you go, and so I post twice a day, right? I post one in the morning, one in the evening, and then long form on Sunday. I never know what's going to be good. The things that get the most hits are the things I would have not done. And something it's so weird. There's just no right or wrong.
Your golf bag review. I did a seatbelt review for my race car, and that's got the biggest hits. Is that I'm like, it's seatbelts.
But it's specific and it's niche. Right. And exactly. Disney really is too broad of a topic. See, Karen loves those reviews. I like them too. I don't hate them. It just wasn't something I thought anybody would ever look at or comment on. So that being said, please go to the YouTube channel and then, before you go to bed at night, click one of those playlists and just let it run overnight. I think the Disney one will run probably about 24 hours. Like, subscribe, share. Let me know what you'd like me to do. I'm going down next or 2 weeks. I don't have a solid plan. Imagine that. So I can do whatever you want. The newsletter, you can try to order a t-shirt. And Andrew, if you're still out there, your order got hung up and I'm going to send it to you, but I've got to figure out if they'll let me print t-shirts with the word Disney on them. And I'm kind of wondering why, because I see a lot of people post things like, or our buddy Steven, his book, something at Disney, right? I mean, it had Disney on the title of his book and they printed that without being sued. So, but mostly Disney is, I needed to legally be derivative as opposed to part of it. So, all right, that's it. That's all I got. We'll be back next Tuesday. Same bat time, same bat schedule. All right. Tron it is. I'm going to ride Tron for 12 hours next week. Just one after the other. Well, Jeremy, and if you haven't checked out, go check out our friends at Main Street Magic. I wish I had a graphic, but they're going to ride Small World for 12 hours. To raise some money for Lou's Make-A-Wish Foundation. And then they have a cool event that I am trying to rearrange a schedule to get to the 15th, where it's a 4-park challenge that looks really fun. They've got some discounted hotel rooms. They've got a real event. They've done some work. They're much more organized than I am. But I am trying to get down to that to go check it out because it looks like a blast. So, all right, guys. Have a great week. I will, to coin a phrase, see you real soon.
Thanks, guys.